Welcome to the Channel X Leaders Interviews for 2026. Absolutely delighted today to be joined by Caroline from Pinterest. If for no other reason that you've recently been promoted, Caroline, to Managing Director of Pinterest UK and Ireland. So congratulations on that, but welcome. How are you?
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for having me. I'm very well, slightly jet lagged in New York, but it's
I can see it behind you through the window.
Yes, but it's great to be here, and thank you.
So just to kick things off, Caroline, can you tell us just a little bit about you? And as I mentioned, you've just stepped into the Managing Director role for UK and Ireland. What's your kind of focus for the first 6 to 12 months?
Well, my Pinterest journey started about 17 months ago, and I came into the role of retail director, which is perfect for me because I love the industry, but I also love to shop. And I think, but I think Pinterest's really unique in terms of bringing the joy into an online shopping experience and reducing that psychological distance between an offline and an online purchase.
Yeah, so I think what I love about Pinterest is that it's shopping before you actually go shopping. It's almost like window shopping until you accidentally realize that you've just got to buy all these things that you've just pinned.
Exactly. What greater joy. So that was a fantastic experience. And then about just over a year later in November, as you say, I stepped into the managing director role, which is hugely exciting. In terms of my focus for the next 6 to 12 months, I think it's what my focus will persist in being. It's just being out in market and spending time with brands and agencies and partners, understanding their unique business challenges and how Pinterest can solve for those, and also have a mission to accelerate understanding of Pinterest's position as the home of kind of positive, as you say, actionable inspiration, and particularly amongst the Gen Z cohort. I think it's super interesting, that this is half of our audience, and our audience numbers continue to grow. So we must be doing something right. We've had 10 consecutive quarters of user growth. We now have 690 million pinners, monthly active users globally. And as I say, half of those are Gen Z. So I think the reason they're coming to Pinterest is because it's this positive oasis on the internet.
Yeah, and I think, if I'm honest, over the past few years, I don't want to say people have got a bit more woke, but people are definitely more considerate of their mental well-being and positive mindset, and they want to be in places, whether it be in physical places or online, where it's an emotionally satisfying and fulfilling place, rather than sometimes e-commerce has got to, need it, want it, click it, buy a button. But Pinterest is all about the inspiration and feeling good. And I've seen brides that are planning their weddings on Pinterest, and people moving into a new home and how they're going to decorate on Pinterest. And I just love the feel of the community and the kind of experience. And I think with mental health awareness as it is today, Pinterest is only ever going to keep growing.
Well, I hope so. And I mean, Harvard Business School did a study, and 10 minutes a day on your Pinterest board reduces mental anxiety amongst Gen Z. And that particular cohort are very tuned into mental health, as I think we all are. I'm not Gen Z, spoiler alert.
Me neither.
But yes, I couldn't agree more, Chris.
Now, we've talked a little bit about the users and their experience and what a positive place Pinterest is. But most of our listeners are hard-nosed retailers, and they just want to know how to make money. So as advertisers consider their channel mix for 2026, why should they be considering Pinterest? What's happening to make them put their ears up and pay attention?
So I believe Pinterest is very unique and differentiated in the market, and we sit between visual search and discovery. So in terms of speaking to retailers, I'll give 3 measurable outcomes, because we all like to measure. So I call these the 3 Ps: performance, positivity, and purchase intent. So I'll give a recent example on performance. Sofology, leading UK sofa retailer, leveraged Pinterest's Performance Plus, which is our AI toolkit, to drive a boost of 55% in their ROAS, which is pretty impactful. In terms of the second P, positivity, I think we really need to see this as a distinct commercial advantage, not just a nice to have. And you may have seen some research that Magna released last year around the importance of the environment. And it turns out that context matters. And being in an environment that the user feels is positive has up to a 94% increase in purchase intent and up to 24% increase in sales. So I think that's really powerful and something that retailers should leverage.
Big numbers.
They're big numbers. And it's good to have some data behind that rather than just talk about positivity in a sort of whimsical sense. And the third one is purchase intent. And so I think from a brand's perspective, people come to Pinterest undecided, but they leave having made a decision. So 96% of our searches are unbranded, but more than half our audience are coming to shop. And we talk about our platform being designed for decisions. And I think that's a really unique differentiator and why retailers should want to work with us.
Yeah, and you mentioned something that everyone's talking about at the moment, AI,
Yes.
which immediately made me prick my ears up. But how is Pinterest leveraging AI to kind of enhance the platform experience? And perhaps even more importantly, how can brands make the most of this?
So we just touched on Performance Plus, which helps advertisers to be more efficient. But I think from a user experience, the best use of AI today is making the platform feel, relevant and personalized. And we often hear the feedback from our customers, we call them pinners, that, Pinterest just gets me. And I think that's because our algorithm is so smart and so powerful, and it's built on our taste graph. And our taste graph maps over 80 billion user signals. So pins, saves, clicks, and it helps us to understand people's evolving tastes and needs and to be able to anticipate those. And that's why our AI is actually 30% more impactful than other platforms.
And talking of your taste graph, I know Pinterest recently launched its annual Pinterest Predicts report, which has got so much information on it. But for those that haven't read, why is this valuable for brands and how can they use it in practice? And I've got to say, for anyone that's not read it, it's a huge report and it covers so many trends and demographics and everything from colors to moods to almost how am I going to be decorating my front room next year? Look at Pinterest Predicts, it's going to tell me. But yeah, it's fascinating to read it. But how can brands use this in practice?
So Pinterest Predicts is one of my favorite things. As you say, Chris, it's an annual not yet trending report. So we're able to leverage billions of boards, lots of clever machine learning to predict the future. And we're remarkably good at it. So over the last 6 years, and this is really seeing 20 or so trends across horizontal categories, we have an 88% accuracy. That's nearly 9 in 10. So of the 21 trends that we just released, we can confidently expect 18 or 19 of them to come true. I think that's a powerful competitive advantage.
Massive.
It's absolutely massive. So a couple of examples from last year. So Marriott Bonvoy, they aligned with a travel trend around peak travel, all of us escaping to the mountains for the fresh air. And they saw a 15% lift in aided awareness. We also partnered with Chamberlain Coffee. She brought out a variety of sea salt toffee coffee aligned to our fisherman's aesthetic trend. And on launch day, there was more than 200% lift in sales. This year, some of the trends, brooches are very in, Chris, particularly for men.
Oh, don't talk to me about this year's report. My favourite, Gimme Gummy. I'm sorry, I am a huge Haribo fan. And just that whole aesthetic just appeals to me.
Oh, I think things like Gimme Gummy brooches, they really speak to this need that we have for kind of comfort and self-expression. And I think that really appeals across audiences, but is particularly important to our Gen Z cohort.
Yeah, and I think that the funfair as well, the sort of
Funhouse.
the stripes, sorry, funhouse stripes from the big top and everything, so on trend. And but what I really want to know is it too late for brands reading Pinterest predicts to start picking up on some of these trends? So if they pick up on the big top stripes or the gimme gummy, or is it too late for them to build those into their products for sort of Q4 2026, or have they kind of missed the boat on that?
No, I think the difference with trends on Pinterest is they're not flash in the pan trends that, by the time you've written the copy, they've gone. These are lasting, durable trends. We see them evolve over the course of the year. So that 88% accuracy is over the year-long period. And we're working with a select group of very forward-thinking retailers like Cult Beauty, Tommy Hilfiger, Wolf and Badger on platform to bring the trends to life in shopping experiences. So they'll continue to evolve, and it's certainly not too late.
So I'm digging the brooch that you're wearing, but I'm also loving the Art Deco trends that are in the report as well. I have to say there's so much in there. And what I'll do is I'll put a link just beneath this to the report. So if you've not seen it, you can grab the latest Pinterest predicts.
Wonderful.
But to close with some inspiration, can you share a recent UK or Ireland retailer example that shows kind of measurable impact, and how Pinterest partnered with the brand in the campaign? And basically, what we want to know is, what were the results?
I love this campaign. We partnered with DFS, obviously a
Yes.
UK furniture retailer, on a very creative campaign to help customers to identify what their sofa trend and style is without being overwhelmed by a catalogue. We worked with WPP and Jungle to turn the search for the perfect sofa into a quest across 6 realms. So we gamified the experience. And I think that's just so exciting and a great way to bring it to life. So we use Pinterest collages. And the success, we saw a 5.8 point lift in DFS favorability and a 3.7 lift in point lift in action intent. So these things are so impactful, and they just rely on a little bit of imagination and leaning in and working with us and our valuable agency partners to bring it to life.
Amazing. So one final question before I let you go. For a brand that's not currently engaged on Pinterest, and I've got to say, why not? Where should they get started? I mean, if a brand is saying, okay, I'm ready to engage with Pinterest, what are the first things they should be thinking about?
I think they should be thinking about the unique role that Pinterest can play within the mix. And I think our ability to drive performance, to predict trends, and I think just speaking to the team, but also I'm very open to brands accessing us through organic content first, and bringing that to life. And I think if you think about ads, paid ads on Pinterest, people save them. On which other platform does somebody?
I don't even click on ads on other platforms, let alone save them.
No, indeed. So I think it's just be intentional with the platform, because it is an intentional platform. People don't come to doom scroll, they come for a purpose. So lean into that, think about positivity as a competitive advantage, think about leveraging our AI tools to be most performant. And if Pinterest isn't yet on plan, then upload the catalog. That's the way that you make sure that customers have the opportunity to be served the right ad and the right product at the right time. And it's not just products, it's also services and experiences. But think more holistically about that intersection between visual search and discovery, and what you're missing out on if you're not working with Pinterest.
Fantastic. Caroline, I want to thank you so much for your time today. And I think my biggest takeaway is, if you're a brand that wants to be found in a positive environment, in a place where people are coming to be inspired to find your products, then Pinterest is the place to be. But thank you so much for your time, and I hope to speak to you again soon.
Thank you, Chris. I look forward to seeing you wearing a brooch next time.
Well, to be fair, I've got my Channel X brooch on.
Correct.
Thanks so much.